Hi, it's Caitlin from Caitlin Swatches, and I'm here today with my February polish pickup swatch video. The theme for February is movie quotes, and once again, we have an incredible selection of nail polishes to show off. There's also a few nail care items that I have, and I'm just really excited to show you. But before we get into the swatches, I will include everything you need to know about the polish pickup, pricing, how many bottles will be available of everything down in the description. And if you're new to the polish pickup, you'll be able to purchase everything you see in my video starting on February 3rd at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time through just before midnight on February 6th. It's a pre-order and everything will ship 3 to 4 weeks later. So that's my polish pickup spiel. Let's get into the nail polishes. Let's go alphabetically, and of course we're starting with none other than Bee's Knees Lacquer. This one's called Better Than No Heart at All, and this one is inspired by one of their favorite movies called Stardust, and this one is described as a pale pink Dumicorn sibling with the same glowy green to blue shimmer. And I will show you comparisons after the swatch of this polish. Obviously this is extremely sheer. I would say even on the third coat, it still didn't fully cover my nail line. It's 100% a ghostly nail polish. It's definitely in that category. So obviously, as you can see, it applies really easily, but it's just never going to build up to full opacity. So you could layer it over something else, like a really, pretty baby pink. That might be really nice, but I like sheer polishes. I like the ghostly effect, so I'm leaving it as it is. I just applied 3 coats, and now I'm applying top coat, which will just bring out the shine a little bit more. It dries pretty glossy, but it's shinier with the top coat. And the shimmer in this polish is really sparkly. It's really quite incredible. It's not holographic, but it's very sparkly. And here you can see just how many faces this polish has. So it almost looked green and pink under my swatch lights, and now in the natural light, it's looking a lot more purple and blue. It's just incredibly shifty, and here you can see what I mean about the ghostly quality to it. It almost disappears on my nail. And now for the comparisons. So on my index, we have Better Than No Heart at All, which is the polish available in the February polish pickup. On my middle, we have Dumicorn, which is much more purple, as you can see. And then on my ring finger is Those Spiders Have Human Hands, which is surprisingly similar to Better Than No Heart at All. And then I put You're Not That Weird on my pinky as sort of a control, because that is like the epitome of a ghostly polish to me, but it has a totally different shimmer and base. So not that close to Dumicorn, though it has the same effect, but shockingly similar to Those Spiders Have Human Hands, which I always thought was more of a gray, but apparently it's closer to this polish than I would have anticipated. So hopefully this is helpful. I'd be really curious to hear in the comments if you're planning on picking up Better Than No Heart at All, even if you already have Dumicorn. To me, the videos don't lie. It's definitely different enough for you to justify getting it. Moving along, we have Clionadh Cosmetics I Want an Everlasting Gobstopper, which is inspired by Willy Wonka, of course, and I have always loved that movie. This polish is a colorful full coverage flaky explosion. It features red, copper, yellow, lime, turquoise, and blue metallic flakes. It also has red and violet iridescent aurora flakes and holographic shimmer. So this polish is not your average flake bomb. I love the inclusion of those iridescent flakes, and the holographic shimmer is just really something else, as you will see the more I build it up. So this one is definitely, depending on your application style, it's going to be something you want to build up in either 2 coats or 3 coats. So I always paint thinner on my index finger, so I had to go back and add a third coat, but I was quite happy with how it looked on the second finger in just 2 coats. So this will have a tiny bit of texture because there's so many flakes in it, but top coat will take care of it and it won't be difficult to remove whatsoever. It's not like a glitter. So here it is in 2 to 3 coats with a glossy top coat, and this is just so pretty. It's not in your face holographic. Unfortunately, I haven't seen the sun in a super long time, so there's no way I could capture this in the sun, but it looks incredible in whatever lighting you catch it, and obviously in the sun you'll get more of that holographic feel, which is what I tried to capture here with my camera flash. It's not the same as sun, but hopefully it gives you a sense of how the holo shows. Here we have Cupcake Polish with You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat, and this one is obviously inspired by the movie Jaws, and this polish is just a perfect representation of Jaws in my opinion. It's a sky blue Crelly nail polish with gold to green to red iridescent flakies and red, silver, and black metallic flakies, and it has a fantastic formula. As you can see, it goes on really evenly in that first coat, and then the second coat gave me full opacity. I'm sure some people would want 3, but I personally really like how it looks in 2 coats. I was able to get full coverage. And what I absolutely love about this polish is how those red flakes in there, they're not overdone. Like, it's just subtle and they're very irregular. It does kind of give blood like it's obviously supposed to, and I absolutely love that. So this has a tiny bit of texture due to the flakes, but it will smooth out in 1 layer of top coat and it won't be difficult to remove at all. So here it is in 2 coats plus top coat. I just want to do da-da, da-da. But anyway, here's the polish. It doesn't shift around too much. The flakes kind of catch the light, but in the Crelly base, they're not as obvious and shifty as in a different base. So here's Cuticula's polish, which is Silencio Bruno, and this one is a green to blue to purple multichrome with green glass flakes and silver holographic flakes. So I can't remember the name of the movie that this is inspired by, but I'm sure someone will remind me in the comments. And this polish has a fantastic formula. I really loved working with it. I think I like really fluid polishes, and this one is definitely on the fluid side. So as you can see, it has really good coverage on the first coat, but you will need a second coat for full opacity. I don't think many people will need 3. It just built up really well for me in 2. And what I absolutely love most are those green glass flakes in there. They just show up so nicely and I just love them. What can I say? So you will want a good glossy top coat like the Cuticula Limitless top coat, which is what I'm using here in this video when you see the clear brush. And this polish is tremendously sparkly. And here you're going to see just how shifty and surprisingly incredible this polish is. Like, I had no idea that I would love it so much when I saw it in the bottle, but when I put it on my nail, I kind of fell in love with it. So maybe you will fall in love with it too. Here we have Glisten and Glow Bing Bong Bing Bong, and this one is a grape jelly polish loaded with a rainbow of iridescent color shifting flakes, hollow flakes, and various shapes and sizes of glitters in purple and pink shades. So this one is inspired by the movie Inside Out, which I haven't seen and I probably should. But anyway, her childhood imaginary friend is Bing Bong, who brings her riding on the train of thought, and it sounds like a really great movie, and this polish is absolutely beautiful. So I did I didn't receive opacity. I achieved opacity in 2 coats. Some people might want 3, but I was able to cover my nails perfectly in 2. There are pink glitters, so this will definitely need a glitter grabber plus a top coat. So I'm using the Glisten and Glow glitter grabber, which is not available in the polish pickup this month, but a little birdie told me you can get it next month, or you can get it at any time in the Glisten and Glow website. So apply that glitter grabber, let it dry for about 10 minutes, and then you want to go in with another top coat, a quick dry top coat. I'm using the Glisten and Glow quick dry top coat, and this will just seal everything in for the glossiest possible finish. I love wearing glitter polishes, but for years and years and years, I avoided them because I hated how dried out they would look. But with a glitter grabber and a glossy top coat, it plumps everything out, makes it look juicy and smooth, which is what I like. So this polish has those iridescent flakes. As you can see here, they shift through blue and green. They're really quite beautiful, and this polish, like every polish that I've shown so far, looks great in any lighting you catch it in. So I've caught it on another overcast day, surprise, surprise. And Glisten and Glow is also offering their cuticle remover and cuticle oil. So the cuticle remover is scented in strawberry, and it has a brush applicator. It's just got some ingredients that will help to remove, I don't know if I'm going to say the word right. It's the epinecium that, is the skin that grows up onto your nails. So this is just applied to the nail plate, the cuticle area, and then you let it sit for 60 seconds. You can just let it sit for 60 seconds. Sometimes I go a little bit longer, but nothing has ever happened to me. And then you push it back with whatever you want to use. You can use a wooden orange wood stick, or like I'm using a glass cuticle pusher, which is from nailstuff.ca. I've got an affiliate code down in the description if you want one. It works really well. And then you wash it off, which is what you're seeing here. It does a really great job of removing the excess skin at your cuticle area, but it also is relatively hydrating. And then for the ultimate in hydration, you want to use this cuticle oil pen, which comes in the duo. This one's scented in strawberries and cream, and it is beyond delicious. I love the smell of this. If you're a fan of strawberries, it just has a hint of vanilla, which just makes it just so yummy. So I apply this all over my nail, the cuticle area, down onto my fingers, and I try to always remember to do the tips of my fingers as well. And if you have long nails, go in behind your free edge. So I just rub it in, and then you leave it on. I know some people don't like greasy fingers, but don't wash it off. Leave it on. Let your nail plate soak up all the hydrating ingredients, and they'll be very happy nails. Moving along, we have Great Lakes Lacquer. Yes, very sad. Anyway, this one's inspired by the one and only God of Mischief. And this one is a really moody grayed out teal, which features a soft linear holographic microflake, and then iridescent flake in violet, red, orange, gold, and green. So this has a sheer formula to it, but it builds up really nicely. I think it looks fantastic in 2 coats, but I know most people don't wear their polishes as sheerly as I do, so I will show it to you in 3 coats, but it builds up really beautifully, and there are just a ton of those iridescent flakes in there. There's also a ton of hollow, so this looks fantastic in the sun. It kind of looks incredible in any lighting, which is what I love about indie nail polishes. They're always so beautiful and look good in any lighting. So as you can see, this builds up really nicely, and when you do build it up to 3 coats, you definitely get opacity, and it just sort of deepens the color of the polish a little bit. So I will recommend a good top coat for this. It's not going to be difficult to remove and it won't require more than one layer of top coat, but you definitely want top coat because it does dry down with a tiny bit of texture and dullness. So here it is in 3 coats plus top coat, and hopefully you're getting a taste of how those flakes shift around. But here you can see just how shifty they really are and how plentiful they are, which is also what I really appreciate about this polish, is that there is no skimping on those flakes. Kathleen & Co. has created Sincerely Yours, The Breakfast Club, which is inspired by The Breakfast Club. And this polish is very beautiful, as you might already be able to tell. It's described as a red base loaded with a mix of blue to red shimmers and scattered hollow. So this polish has a pretty good formula. I would say it's best to build it up in 3 thin coats, but as you're going to see, I kind of just accidentally overloaded my index finger on the second coat, so I didn't need a third. But this polish is really shifty and absolutely beautiful. There's a lot going on here, but it works so well together. So as you can see on my index finger, I definitely got opacity in 2 coats, but you can see in 2 coats on my middle finger with thinner coats, it wasn't enough. So I had to go in with a third, which built it up pretty well. And this dries down just a tiny bit less glossy than I want it to look. So of course I'm going to apply top coat to make it as shiny and juicy as possible. And here you can see just how beautiful this is when it's all glossed up. And the sun actually came out for this polish, so I was able to show it off very briefly in some sunny overcast, and look how beautiful and red that polish looks when it's backlit. I was kind of blown away by the shifts in this one, and I just really like how it's purple, pink, and red. And next up is Paint It Pretty Polish, who is inspired by The Wizard of Oz, and this one is We're Not in Kansas Anymore, which is a green base packed with shifting iridescent flakes and hollow flakes. So this polish has such a beautiful base color to it. I would say it's pretty close to a Kelly green. It's just so vibrant, so jelly, so juicy, and when it builds up with those flakes, you're probably going to love it just as much as I do. So I only built this one up in 2 coats, but you can build it up in 3. Of course, you can do whatever you want. You can wear 20 layers for all I care, but this polish is so squishy and beautiful, and as you can see, the iridescent flakes are plentiful. I think the hollow is just done sparingly in the right amount, so nothing overpowers the other, and you can still see the squishiness of the base through everything, and this just screams to me Emerald City. It looks exactly like the color in that film, and I love this polish. So here it is in all of its juicy, squishy glory. And here it is backlit, so you can see those beautiful shifty flakes. It's just fantastic. I'm seeing that movie so clearly through this polish. I think Sherry did a fantastic job, and this one looks incredible in every lighting except for sun, because once again, I'm dying without sunlight, but that's another story. Polished for Days is up next, and this one is called The Princess of Genovia, and obviously this is inspired by The Princess Diaries, which was my movie when I was a kid. I was fascinated by it, the concept that you could just become a princess by, these, circumstances, which I think I forget the plot now, but it was a normal girl becoming a princess, and I wanted that to happen to me. So this is a gold to green shifting shimmer with a sprinkling of holographic microflakes. It is a sister polish to Opal Watermelon. So if you like that polish from a couple years ago in the polish pickup, you're gonna love this one. I super duper love it. It's giving like Snow Queen. It's just fantastic. It's beautiful. It's shifty. It's sort of reflective because the finish of it is almost metallic, and you will see, because I actually had sun for half a day and ran outside to capture this because it just had to be seen in the sun. Like, look at how beautiful that is. It is just so beautiful. Hopefully you're gonna agree with me. I love the shifts in it. It builds up beautifully in 2 coats. I love a 2-coater, and I love that extreme angle where you get the green, you get the gold, you get pink, you get a little bit of everything, even purple when you go really extreme in the light. I just think this is a really entertaining polish, and I'm super happy to see a sibling for Opal Watermelon. I thankfully own that one, and I'm hoping we get an entire rainbow of that finish. Rogue Lacquer was inspired by one of the most famous movie quotes of all time, arguably. That's what Rachel is claiming, arguably. She knows it could be argued. This one is called I Am Your Father, and this one is a dark side black Crelly with blue to cyan to black flakies, hollow microflakes, and a splash of stars, which are represented by red and silver reflective glitters. So for anyone who is a Star Wars fan out there, then you might want to pick this one up. So this builds up really nicely, but I will build it up to 3 coats just for the deepest base finish possible. So it's got reflective glitter, which means it will have that textured finish, but it also means it'll have an incredibly sparkly and twinkly finish, which who doesn't love that? So the flakes are also what really impressed me in this polish. They stand out really beautifully against the black jelly base, which is fantastic. So I did actually I did 3 coats on my index because I went thin, and then 2 on my middle, so you might be able to get it opaque in 2. And I did opt to use a glitter grabber for this one, so I'm using a different glitter grabber. I'm using Cuticula's Quenched glitter grabber top coat. Let that dry for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm applying the Cuticula Limitless quick dry top coat to get a super glossy smooth finish. And as you can already see on my index finger and now on my middle finger, this looks incredible when it's all glossed up. The flakes stand out, the reflective glitters really stand out, and I think this is a perfect Darth Vader inspired nail polish. So here it is in as much different lighting as I could capture. I love the shift on those iridescent flakes. They're just incredible. I don't actually know if they're officially iridescent, but they're shifty, and here it is on a overcast day. It's still twinkly and beautiful. And last but not least, I wanted to show you with my camera flash so you can see those red and silver glitters. And last but certainly not least, we have Sassy Sauce Polish with Horse of a Different Color. This one is also inspired by Wizard of Oz and the scene with that purple horse. And this one is a lightly blue tinted linear hollow base with strong pink to purple to golden shift and some purple hollow shifty glitter. So I'm mostly just seeing this as a really pretty pastel purple lilac shade. It builds up really beautifully. I love how it looked in 2 coats. You might want to take it to 3, but what really makes this stand out for me are those pink, purple, golden shifts that you get in this polish. It's just really fantastic and it looks great in every lighting, as you will see in a second. So again, you might want to do 3 coats. I left it in 2. Apply top coat, obviously, because you want to maximize that holographic effect, and top coat will help you do that. And here, hopefully you're getting a taste of the shift. Here it comes. You can definitely see that golden, that green at really extreme angles, which just complements that purple so beautifully. This is a really dainty and delicate polish, and I am a sucker for those. I just couldn't stop shifting my hands about, and I was using my seasonal affective disorder light, and it just looked really good. It's gonna be tough to pick my favorites, but I think I'm gonna have to go with uniqueness factor in order to pick my favorites, because I do genuinely love everything that I've showed you today. So the polishes that I think are must-haves are the cupcake polish, just because it is so unique. I have nothing like that in my collection. I love that shade of blue, and I love those red flakes that look like blood. It's honestly the perfect Jaws nail polish. I also super love the cuticula. I don't have a lot of polishes like that. The flakes are incredible, the shifts in it are incredible, and it has a wonderful formula. And of course, I love the Polished for Days. It is so beautiful. I know we've seen a lot of white nail polishes lately, but this one is just taking it to another level with the shifts and that foily reflective sort of finish. So please let me know in the comments which polishes you're planning on picking up from the Polish Pickup. Let me know if it's any of the ones that I've showed you today. And I hope you're staying warm if you're somewhere cold like I am. And I hope you're having a great day. And I also hope that I see you in my next video. Have a good one. Bye.